This is a question that came in. It's a marketing and a business question. Came in from Martin Dupont. What are the best ways to solicit new business by email from targeted groups? And Martin gives some details about that. So, in his case, his company is offering management, property management for either landlords. From his question, he sounds like he's sort of targeting two groups: either landlords who presumably are already using some kind of management company, and also private landlords who he refers to as self-managing, who are advertising vacant properties on the web. So basically he's planning to send emails to these two groups of people initially to develop leads, so kind of identify people who would be potential customers for his business, and then progressively to convert those leads into customers and get them to sign up for a contract. And he's got a couple of things he can offer them initially. He can give them some kind of financial incentive to almost a kind of trial thing, like 2 months free property management or whatever, and referral as well. So if they refer another customer, they get some kind of thing, and also some kind of discount if they register by the end of the month. And maybe more importantly, he's also got some materials he can send them. So things like a guide for landlords who are managing their own property. What sort of things should they be aware of? And also some kind of consumer's guide. So, for example, he came up with 5 ways a professional property manager can save you money. And one thing he was asking is it sort of best to offer all this stuff at once or send them in progressive emails, like an email sequence? So really good question, and applicable to any business really when you're looking to bring on new customers, and you kind of feel you're in a situation where you have to do some cold calling, cold emailing, whatever, a mail drop, however you like to put it. So I'll start with some quite general stuff because I think it's always useful to go over the basics again. When we're communicating with prospective customers, prospects, and later on the leads, and hopefully later on the actual customers, they're always thinking, who can they trust? It's sort of subconsciously, this is the main concern of people. Can I trust you? Why should I trust you? And we need to do things to build up that trust. And the most fundamental way we do that is attitude. And that really means trying to see things from their point of view. So forget about trying to persuade them to buy our product or service, but really, can we put ourselves in their position? Can we sincerely act with their best interests at heart? A good definition I heard of selling once is selling is when you get someone emotionally and intellectually committed to an outcome that's good for them. It doesn't mention you at all. It's what's good for them. And sometimes that will be an outcome that's not involving money going to you. So someone might come to buy your product or service, and you talk to them a bit, exchange some emails, and you work out that what you're offering wouldn't really help them, and you might suggest an alternative, a competitor alternative, for example. So it's really important to, and particularly in those initial kind of very cold contacts, how can you do that? And part of the process we go through is to change from, I think it was Dan Kennedy said, you don't want to be an annoying pest, you want to be a welcome guest. That kind of transition. And a good way to do that is, can you avoid it being like a cold encounter overall? So instead of going in with hello, we are a local property management company, here are the ways we can save you money or whatever, you go in just maybe doing some kind of survey. So people like to be helpful, so it's always good to frame it as like, could you help us out? Could you help me out? I've been running this business for a few years, but I really want to get to know what people's real problems are. Could you tell me as a landlord what are your top 3 daily frustrations? Or do you feel you've been ripped off in the past by a property management company? Would you mind telling me what happened and what you did to resolve it? So these kind of very, very gentle things where there's no kind of suggestion that you're going to be asking them for money, and you should do this very genuinely, because genuinely as in with a genuine attitude, because it's very, 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 very useful. Few of these inquiries are going to result in business directly. However, if you're smart about them, 100% of them will result in business indirectly, because first of all, you're being the answers you get back, you're being fed your marketing materials. Basically, people are going to be telling you, the problems they've had with property management, or why they're doing it themselves, and that kind of the ideas that they give you and the language itself, that can be put into all your future emails, adverts, whatever you're doing, mailing drops, that kind of thing. And also, if someone seems to be kind of friendly and open but not a good fit for you, they may be a fantastic referrer. So it comes across in the communication that they're perfectly happy managing their own property, and you're very, very grateful for the time and information they're giving you. And by the way, do they know anyone who's not happy managing their own property, anyone who's getting sick of it, or anyone who's not happy with their current managing property management company? So these kind of very very, very soft contacts, it's very, very different from a cold contact where all the focus is on you. You're introducing yourself, what you do, and what you can do for them. But it's far better to gently tease out from them what their situation is, and then genuinely think, do I have, am I in a position to help them? And if not, who can I refer them to? Because if you have, a couple of, even a couple of competitors that you regularly refer business to, that's going to become a very, very valuable thing in the future, because you'll get referrals back and you'll be building up a lot of goodwill, maybe getting some very good information from those competitors. So some of the specifics about some kind of guide of what people should be aware of if they're self-managing their property. With that kind of thing, I'd always say yes, it's incredibly valuable. I would always do it as a multi-step thing, as in have maybe 1 or 2 steps before actually sending them the brochure or guide or whatever you want to call it. This is going to be a money-saving thing, first of all, because it's costing you much less to send out emails than it is to send out a printed thing. And I would say definitely you want to be sending out a printed thing, not a PDF. Even when people claim they prefer getting documents electronically, they are mistaken. People like printed stuff. You want something physically that's going to be sat in their office for a bit on their desk. So I'd say after 1 or 2 initial questions by email, and then say, oh, actually we've got this, or I've got this guide that I think would be very useful for you. Would you mind if I send you a free copy? So a really kind of self-deprecating answer. Would it possibly be okay if I sent you this free thing? Now, when you send, so you say that you're going to send them the brochure, okay? Or well, let's call it a guide because that's a much better thing than the brochure. Don't just send them this guide, right? You've done it in a couple of steps because you've exchanged some email with them already. So you've got, let's say your first email, and let's say we're targeting a private self-managing landlords you found them because they're advertising properties online on a property listing site, and they're expecting emails from people who want to rent a place, and you email them, just wondering if you're doing your own management or whatever your initial question is going to be. And you start this kind of conversation. You get to a point, maybe after a couple of emails, where they seem quite receptive. You say, actually, I've got this free guide of things that you should be aware of. It covers kind of maybe legal pitfalls, some very practical stuff, some ways you can save money. Does that sound useful to you? I say, yeah, that sounds useful. So next email would be, would you mind if I sent you a free copy? And they say, sure, go ahead, and they give you the address. Now, when you send it, don't just stick, some bits of paper in an envelope. Make sure there's a free gift in there, and look for a local business doing like gourmet cookies or something like that you can something nice, and maybe a free practical gift as well. Bottles of wine still, not even vaguely practical, but bottles of wine still, for some reason, in business-to-business marketing, seem to have a really, really good effect. But just something like that. So they're expecting a little leaflet in the post, and they get something like this. Now, the reason you can afford to do this is because you've filtered out a load of people, because most of the landlords that you contact, the conversation doesn't get going. So you're not spending that money, sending them what they'd essentially perceive as junk mail. You've put a few steps in between. And what I would just say about steps at the moment that's really worth thinking about is that in business, simplicity gives you speed. So, if you just got one service and one marketing channel, and you just ramp it up, absolutely focus on that, you get the speed. The problem is, or the paradox is that complexity is what gives you stability and what makes your business strong. So multiple customer groups you're targeting, multiple marketing channels to each customer group, so that if if your local newspaper suddenly closes down and that was your, if that was your only supply of business, then you're in real trouble. But if you've built up multiple streams where you have, you're doing print advertising and email and some mailing list stuff, and maybe some, even yellow page advertising or whatever, maybe whatever, telemarketing, maybe your Google ads, Facebook ads, whatever. If you've got those multiple marketing channels, then as some of them disappear or the price just rises to a level where you can't afford it, then you're still okay. Exactly the same thing, of course, with streams of income. If you've only got one service that you sell, and there's some problem, let's say there's a legal change that suddenly makes giving, maybe there's some more regulations where meeting those regulations means you can't make a profit on that service anymore. Again, you're kind of in trouble. So having multiple streams of income where, let's say you're doing the property management for the landlords, but you're also doing some of their marketing for them on a commission only basis or whatever, or you're helping them find new properties, this kind of thing, and getting a commission on that. It's multiple streams of income. We're always thinking, how can I solve a bigger problem for this customer? So I've got this satisfied customer, and hopefully going to continue a business relationship with them for quite a while. What's a bigger problem I can solve for them? And with the marketing channels, it's always, what are the more marketing channels I can add? And if I average the cost of the marketing channels, does this then allow me to use marketing channels that my competitors cannot afford to use? Okay, because if we can go and market in ways and in places that our competitors can't afford to use, then we have a very, very big competitive advantage. So if people are doing one-page ads in your local property listing magazines and are struggling to make any money on it, and yet you're doing a little half-page ad in the same magazine that's sending someone to a website to get a free guide, and then they go into your email sequence, and you're converting them over a period of time, and you're getting referrals from the people who you can't convert to customers, and of course some of the people that you can convert to customers, then you're in a much stronger position than that. Another thing I'd say is so Martin, one of his examples of a piece of information that he'd be able to offer would be 5 ways a professional property manager can save you money. So I'd make that title a bit stronger. So an obvious change would be the top 5 ways, but also things like 5 surprising ways a professional property manager can save you money. Another way to put surprises in a title is even if. So 5 great ways to lose weight even if you want to eat takeaway food every day, whatever it would be. 5 ways you can get into medical school even if you failed high school. So even if it is a good one, because when people see a benefit headline, they immediately think of a way it doesn't apply to them. Like, oh, but I've only got one property. How could I possibly use a property management company or whatever it is? So I hope that's been useful to everyone, not just Martin, obviously. Great question, and if there are follow-up questions, please post them as YouTube comments. And my cancer fundraising website, which pays for my cancer treatment for my terminal cancer, is at www.matthewdons.org. That's MATTHEWDONS.org. Thanks a lot.